Hello everyone, Elliot Harris here. I know I kind of vanished off this channel for a while, but long story short, at the minute I'm currently in self-isolation, so I thought, what a better way to use my time than, jump back into this, and I thought I'd start with a review actually of a film I've literally just finished watching about 10 minutes ago. I don't know why I'm looking at my arm, I'm not holding a watch. Everyone, so the film I just watched was a British independent film called Break. It is directed by Michael Elkin and it's his debut film. It also debuts Sam Gittins in his first ever lead role as well. I want this film to get the recognition it deserves, and I don't think it does at the minute. And I want to change that. Right, so let's just jump in. Break is a rags to riches story about a young lad called Spencer Pryde, as the other lead calls him. Any other person on the corner of the street, drug dealer, drinking, sat at a wall, you know the people. If you go up to any major city, especially in the UK, you know that type of person. And yeah, he's just squandering his life away, basically, is what we're led to believe by what he's doing. But again, from the off, you can see he's a good lad with a good heart. He's nice to some kids at the start. Befriends this little lad called Lloyd, who you see every now and again. He seems really sweet, and like I said, he seems like a good lad, just doing some really stupid, dumb shit, to be blunt. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the entire film synopsis and premise, because that will just wreck it for you, and I think you guys need to watch it. But this film takes you on a massive emotional journey, which I wasn't expecting. There are moments where it's somewhat comedic in its dialogue, there's moments where it's really emotional, there's some parts where it's quite violent and aggressive, and all the dialogue is just spot on for the people who are saying it and the ages they're trying to portray. Seeing what they do and seeing how they act, it feels very believable that they are in their late to mid-20s, which is my age, and I think the dialogue used is fantastic and it covers that base fantastically. Nothing sounds like it was wrote like by an older bloke for someone younger to play. It feels very real and very organic to the character and how they would react in the situation, and that develops as time goes on. There are moments where Spencer has a massive row with his friends and then make up. Again, they're very believable. There's moments where he's very emotional. There's parts where he is not interested with people that were in his life and doesn't want nothing to do with them. And it all feels very believable, and I think that's my main takeaway from this film, is that it is your typical rags to riches sort of story, but with a slight twist in it that makes the whole thing seem believable. And you are rooting for Spencer this entire film, and when he does the stupid stuff, you're kind of like screaming at the screen going, why? Like, he is a lad in this film you just want to see succeed, and when he, slips up slightly or is pushed into a corner, you end up rooting for him. If you want to or not, it just kind of happens. And I think a massive part of that has to go down to the lead, Sam Gittins, who plays this role of Spencer, in my mind, perfectly. I've been a fan of his, ever since he did Await Further Instructions, which is a horror film, again very good. But his portrayal of this young lad just stuck in this rut and doing these things, I think is brilliant. He just nails it, and I don't really know how to explain it, and I don't want to rattle too long about it so I sound like a fanboy, but I think he just nails that role spot on for a debut lead performance. I think it's fantastic. So I don't know if you'll ever see this, but very, very, very good job there, and it is a standout positive in this film. Something else I really, 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 really wanted to pick up on, which is probably behind Sam's performance and the dialogue, the best thing about this film. The music is, again, spot on for the tone they're trying to portray. And an example is that, without giving too much away, there's a moment where Sam and his dad are having this reconciliation moment, or, this nice, pleasant moment outside, and just in the background, there's just a piano slowly building, and there's nothing else, it's just them talking and a piano, and it just works so well. And as a dancer who listens to so much music, when the music fits the tone and the theme perfectly, it's just brilliant. And it's subtle as well. It's not like jarring and loud, it's just played throughout the entire film. You know it's there, but it's not jarring and it's not distracting, which I think, again, excellent choice there. I must admit, there are two other characters I have to pinpoint here who I absolutely love. And firstly, it's the mum, who's... I don't know the character's name, I'm really sorry. But it's played by Terry Drewer, who I just think plays the role of a, you know, positive, smiley, but also exhausted mum watching her son just, you know, not, you know, utilise himself fantastically. There are moments where she's got this big beaming smile on. There's moments where she's like crying. Next where she just gets really frustrated from 0 to 100 very quickly, to the part where she smacks him. And it's, again, all believable of how a frustrated parent would react. I think she just got that spot on. I don't know if she has children or not, but, you know, it's very believable if she is a parent. And again, I think from start to finish, she absolutely nailed her role, you know, perfectly. You know, being the one who's always like, oh, you know, come on, you know. But then, you know, there are those moments where it's like, I'm just so frustrated with you and there's nothing more I can do. Spencer's love interest, as we end up calling her, and she's called Shelley and she's played by Sophie Stevens, and she is my spirit animal. She is funny, she is sassy, she is determined, she is quick-witted, and she can just, you know, stand to her own 2 feet in this film, and I just think she is phenomenal in this entire film. There were several times I laughed at what she said, or just the smirk and the look she gave, because it was just brilliant. And, you know, I just think Sophie Stevens, just played that role again. Fantastic, as they all did, but like, she was a stand, like, within the first 5 minutes of her interacting with Spencer or Sam on screen. I was just like, love her, need her more in this film, I need to watch more of her, because just fabulous. So obviously this is art, and art is subjective, and there is no right or wrong answer, but in my mind, when it comes to art, whether it's music or film or dancing or anything, nothing is perfect, and this film isn't perfect, and there are 2 things that I had an issue with, which I'm just going to bring up, and I think, you know, that's fair to mention in the review. I wanted to praise how good it was, but also there were some things I had issue with. And the first one is the pacing, especially in the first 35 minutes, seems a little off. Like, there's lots of little scenes, mainly only lasting about 45 to 60 seconds long, which I'm not sure are needed. They're not transitional scenes, they're not, you know, relevant to what was just played before. They just seem like a bit of extra moment to move us along, but it doesn't feel natural. It just kind of feels like they could have just gone to this next scene without that in there. Like, they're only minor, but there's several of these, and there's about 3 or 4 in a row, especially in the first half an hour. I'm just like, I would have probably just cut that. I'm not sure you needed all that extra, because I don't know what it personally added. And my second point, and this is a big one for me, is that it starts off really well documented. So it starts off with Spencer in Beijing doing a monologue. And he also actually said a really beautiful line, which is, everyone has a gift. And I think that's brilliant, and it kind of like sets the tone nicely. And then it jumps back to 6 months later. No, 6 months earlier. And then later on it goes on to 3 weeks later. So you're kind of like building up to this time. They're the only 2 card placements I saw about time. That was it. And then there was, you know, then there's a scene where there's, you know, Spencer and Shelley are together, and it's like, if I win, you have to do this, but if, you know, if I lose, we have to do this. And suddenly it cuts to several hours later to when the bet is over. And things like, and then it jumps to when they have a row about 5-10 minutes out, but there's no concept of time in between it, so you don't know, like, has this been a day, has this been a week, has this been a month? Like, it just sort of loses track of itself timeline wise. It's like, if you get what I mean, it's just, I just needed some clarity, where it's just like a newspaper or a throwaway line mentioned, so it's like, right, okay, we're this far along now, it's been so and so since this moment, okay. And yeah, they're my 2 major gripes with this film. One just plot point I want to pick up as well, I know I said 2, but there's one more, is that this whole thing, and it's mentioned in the trailer as well, that Spencer has a debt he needs to eradicate of about $5,000. It's never outlined what this debt is for or why. It's just, he owes this person $5,000. And this person mentions it several times, he's there in this confrontation, but the reason for that, or I just missed it, it's never fully outlined from what I could see. So, but I do want to end this on a good note, and I do think something this film does do very well is that it keeps it very light and fun. Like I said, it was joking at the start and everything, and it's all like, but then it does have some really dark, sinister moments, and they jump out very fast. And because it's, so like moving at this nice, easy pace, when the sinister or the emotionally heart-wrenching moments, because there are two in this film, really come out, they really jump out. My only gripe with the sinister moment, which I hope they understand when I say the sinister moment in the bathroom stall, is that it comes at you very fast and it ends very quickly as well. I would like that just drawn out just a little bit longer somehow. Maybe the confrontation lasts longer, or the building up to the confrontation, something, because it just kind of like jumps, goes 100 miles an hour for like 90 seconds, then it stops, and then we move on. So it did such a good job at, squaring that point off, but at the same time, I just wanted a bit more of it. I don't know if this is contradicting or not, but all in all, I think this is a fantastic, fantastic film, and I think everyone should see it. Even if it's not your thing, snooker isn't, I still think the storyline of what it is should be enough, to be honest. And, it's brilliant. Mike Rolkin did a fantastic job. Sam Gittins did a fantastic job as a lead. Everyone involved did an amazing job, I feel like. And I just think, given the climate of the UK, this is the perfect showpiece for why the arts should not die. Save the arts, as we've been saying. This is the reason why, because talent like this cannot be squandered and lost. And it'll be very sad if that happens. But I'm going to stop rambling now. I'm going to thank you all for listening. A big final well done to the entire cast and crew of Break, and I look forward to seeing what more everyone involved with this will do. But until then, I shall speak to you very soon, and have a good one wherever you are. Bye for now, guys.